You've probably met someone, a neighbor, a colleague, maybe a family friend, who's in their 50s and somehow looks like they're in their mid-30s. And your first thought is good genes or expensive skincare. But here's the thing, science disagrees with you. The people who look the youngest aren't always the ones with the best genetics. They have specific psychological habits, mental patterns, ways of thinking that most of us never pay attention to. So today, we're going inside the mind of someone who seems to defy age, and we're going to break down exactly what they do differently. Number 1, the unbreakable spirit. Picture this. 2 people go through the same rough year. Job loss, relationship problems, financial stress. One of them comes out looking exhausted, worn down, 10 years older. The other? Somehow, they look the same, maybe even better. What's the difference? It's not what happened to them, it's how they processed it. When you experience chronic stress, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. And cortisol, over time, breaks down collagen in your skin, disrupts your sleep, accelerates inflammation, and speeds up cellular aging at a level you can actually measure. A study published in the journal Nature found that chronic stress shortens telomeres, the protective caps on your DNA, making your cells biologically older than your actual age. This isn't poetic language, this is biology. People who look young don't have stress-free lives. Nobody does. But they've trained themselves not to drown in it. They process hard things and move forward. They don't let a bad year become a permanent identity. The practical takeaway? Start noticing your stress response in real time. The tight jaw, the shallow breathing, the racing thoughts. And instead of letting it spiral, interrupt it. Move your body. Breathe deliberately. Talk it through with someone you trust. The goal isn't to avoid hard things, it's to stop letting them live permanently in your nervous system. Number 2, embracing change. Here's a question that might sting a little. When was the last time you did something for the first time? Really think about it, because here's what neuroscience found. When you resist change and cling to rigid routine, your brain gradually stops building new neural connections. And a brain that stops adapting is a brain that's aging fast. On the flip side, learning something new forces neuroplasticity. Your brain literally rewires itself. Dr. Michael Merzenich, a neuroscientist at the University of California, San Francisco, and one of the world's leading experts on brain plasticity, spent decades studying this. His conclusion was direct. The brain doesn't have to decline with age. It's use it or lose it. People who look young tend to be people who said yes to the uncomfortable thing. They took a class they were terrible at. They changed directions in their career. They moved somewhere new. Not because they weren't scared, but because they understood that staying completely still is its own kind of decay. And here's the physical side of this. Rigidity and stubbornness literally show up on your face. The muscular tension that comes from resisting life creates chronic stress patterns, changes your posture, and accelerates aging in ways most people never connect to their mindset. Number 3, the curious mind. There's a reason children look so alive, so present, so lit up. And it's not only because they're young, it's because you're genuinely curious about almost everything. Watch a 5-year-old discover something they've never seen before. That expression on their face? That's pure dopamine. Now, picture someone who's been doing the same job, seeing the same people, thinking the same thoughts for 15 or 20 years straight. Even if they're only in their early 40s, something in their eyes has gone quiet. Curiosity is one of the most underrated anti-aging tools that exists. And this isn't just a nice idea, it's biological. Research from the University of California, Davis found that when people are in a genuine state of curiosity, the hippocampus, the brain center for learning and memory, becomes highly active and dopamine production significantly increases. This chemical environment doesn't just improve learning, it changes how alive you feel from the inside out. People who look young tend to have a real "I wonder" relationship with life. They read things that challenge their current thinking. They ask questions instead of assuming they already have all the answers. They find at least one subject that genuinely lights them up, and they go deep into it. You don't need to become a student of everything, but you need at least one thing in your life that makes you lean forward. Number 4, authentic emotional expression. Okay, this one might surprise you. Have you ever noticed how some people, when they smile, it reaches their eyes? And with others, something seems slightly off, like the face is moving, but something behind it isn't quite there. There's a reason for that, and it has everything to do with whether someone has spent years suppressing what they actually feel. When you chronically bottle up your emotions, grief, frustration, Anger, even genuine joy, your body holds it physically. The muscular tension, the frozen expressions, the tightened posture, it all accumulates over years. Psychologists call this emotional armoring. Your face, over time, becomes a map of your unexpressed emotional history. People who look young tend to be people who cry when they're genuinely sad, who laugh out loud when something is actually funny, who say, "I'm angry" out loud instead of swallowing it down. Not because they're dramatic, but because they don't let feelings build up into something heavier. Dr. Brené Brown, researcher and best-selling author, put it plainly. You cannot selectively numb emotion. When you numb the painful ones, you also numb joy. And that emotional flatness shows up on your face, and your energy, and in your eyes over time. Feeling things fully and then letting them pass through isn't weakness. It's one of the most powerful things you can do for your long-term well-being. Number 5, choosing your energy environment. You've heard the idea that you become like the people you spend the most time around. Maybe it sounds like an overused quote, but here's the biology behind it. Human beings have mirror neurons, brain cells that literally fire in response to the emotions and behaviors of the people around us. When you regularly spend time with chronically negative, exhausted, or cynical people, your nervous system begins to mirror that state. Cortisol rises, your emotional baseline lowers, your face tightens. It's not dramatic, it's gradual, but it's measurable. Now, think about someone who radiates genuine energy, who's excited about something real, who makes you feel lighter after a conversation. Being around them doesn't just feel better, it biologically is better for you. People who look young are usually people who are incredibly intentional about who they let into their inner circle. They're not cold or antisocial, but they treat their energy like a finite resource, because it is. Start paying attention to how you feel after spending time with different people. Not what you think you should feel, what you actually feel. That's your data. Use it. Number 6, living with purpose. Here's something that will genuinely shift how you think about aging. In Okinawa, Japan, one of the world's so-called blue zones where people routinely live past 100, there's a concept called Ikigai. It roughly translates to reason for waking up in the morning. Researchers who studied Okinawan longevity found that one of the strongest predictors of long, healthy life wasn't diet or exercise alone. It was having a clear and personal sense of purpose. When you know why you're showing up, your brain releases dopamine consistently. Inflammation decreases. Your immune system actually performs better. People with purpose don't drag themselves through mornings. They have somewhere to be, not just physically, but mentally. That orientation towards something meaningful keeps the mind young in ways that no supplement or skincare routine can replicate. Your purpose doesn't need to be grand. It just needs to be genuinely yours. Something that pulls you forward instead of something you have to push yourself through every day. Number 7, letting go of the past. We saved this one for last because it might be the most important one. Think about what resentment actually feels like in your body. That weight in your chest when a memory surfaces. The way your shoulders rise when an old wound comes back. Now, imagine carrying that, not for a week, but for years. Researchers at Hope College found that people who practiced genuine forgiveness showed measurably lower cortisol levels, lower blood pressure, and reduced physical stress responses compared to those who held on to long-term grudges. Forgiveness isn't only a moral decision. It's a physiological one. People who look young aren't people who had easier lives. Some of them went through things that would break most of us. But somewhere along the way, they made a clear decision. I am not going to let that moment keep defining all of my future moments. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean the other person was right. It simply means you're choosing to stop paying the ongoing price for what they did. That lightness, you can actually see it. In the way someone walks, in their posture, in their face, in the way they talk about their own life. So, here's where we land. 7 habits that the most vibrant, youthful-looking people consistently share. And not one of them required good genetics or expensive skincare. It comes down to managing stress before it manages you. Staying flexible when life wants to harden you. Keeping your mind genuinely curious. Expressing what you feel without shame. Surrounding yourself with people who lift your baseline. Living for something that actually matters to you. And releasing the weight of what already happened. These aren't quick fixes. They're small decisions made consistently over time that add up to something most people assume is just luck. The research is clear. Your mindset is either aging you or protecting you. The only real question is, which one is it right now? If something in this video made you stop and think, drop it in the comments. I genuinely read them and I want to know what landed for you. And if you want more content like this, the real psychology behind how we live, not just the surface level stuff, subscribe. There's a lot more coming. See you in the next one.
Until the sky falls.